Month 8 in the time of the Eternal, month 10, day 29, 2023. Laodicea. He who looks from the heavens and sees the sons of men, looks from his sublime sanctuary and fixes his gaze on the earth. He who produced vegetation on the earth, herbs and seed-bearing trees according to its kind, he who brought night and day into existence, he who put life in abundance in the sea and filled the earth with beasts and cattle, and whatever creeps upon it, he who placed the bow in the clouds as a covenant reminder between him and his people, he who with only his sight keeps all knowledge, but confuses the words of the unfaithful and the infamous, he who contemplates the ends of the entire earth and observes everything under the heavens, he knows the real condition of the mortal, his true works, what lives within, hidden in his being, which when it overflows it is exteriorized. He sees her proud, because she possesses great truths that if they had been put into practice would have been for salvation, because, having great light, she hid it between the skirts of the great whore, for having the truth that was conferred upon her, they were not sanctified by her. Her heart became intoxicated with spurious loves, and pure love escaped from her. She was offered all the heavenly merchandise at her disposal, but she rejected it. She distorts the truth and sells it, adulterated as pure, to many. And all those who live after pride and dissipation follow her, because they seek their own honor before exalting my honor. Thus they rejoice, day after day, in their empty works, denying the truth in their lives, because they throw my real truth to the ground, inducing each other to be rebellious to my voice of warning and preparation. And walks among aberrant things that she carries in her bowels. They are hearers, but not doers. And they will fight, with great spurious zeal, to destroy what is pure with the false love that it bears from the depths of evil. Contaminated missionary zeal leaves without real effectiveness the work of this one. But, like a car without a brake, its race is to the precipice. Making consensus about who is right and who is more exalted than the other, they bring sewage water to the people and they drink it without thinking, because these are accustomed to following men instead of God. Self-complacency leads them to mortal self-deception, from which they, comfortably, do not want to give up. They call what is true evil and what is evil good, creating wide-open licentiousness for all, making the gospel so cheap that it is not desirable even to themselves. But they continue there because of appearances, praising each other. Self-exaltation is their goal, and with this they stain everything they touch, because, this being an offspring of pride, it possesses the entire being and engenders hypocrisy to the ambition to be equal to the world, seeking popularity and a life full of great vanity. He does not look to his Creator and Redeemer to follow his norm, but he looks to Rome to follow his desires. Fights for his followers and, after intimidation and underhanded manipulation, they control many so that they stay away from the real truth. Self-justification, where every end justifies the means, is the excuse in the union with the great whore, because a norm that is not high is a step for all types of spurious concessions. They do not fight to eliminate errors, but to remain in them, and induces others to remain like them. They mock my high norm totally attainable to the mortal who dies to his evil self and ridicules them in order to exert force on them to subject them to their dirty judgments. Inclined to evil behavior, she claims to be the way to truth and life, usurping my place. And she sits like a queen, without feeling the need for anything, showing off her knowledge and throwing to the ground everything I pointed out to her. Like that one, step by step she passed to be the lair of every hateful and unclean bird, for having rejected real love and real truth. Thus says the Lord, their campaigns, I cannot bear them. For these are as of old, among the Pharisees and Sadducees, by gaining followers for their purposes and not for salvation. They indoctrinate him in their falsehoods, and make him 10 times worse than he was, for the cold has hope, but the lukewarm I will vomit out of my mouth. Although, showing off effervescent Christianity, they weave the threads of imperfection so much in others that even the good that is in them is spoiled, as has happened in herself. But, like a good boaster and flatterer, crafty and secretive, she goes with her spurious mixture, feeding with it those who come close to her, following only the molds of her own human invention. And I see them. I know those at the top as well as those at the bottom. I know the oppressors as well as those who feel oppressed. And to this last ones, I struggle to still rescue from these noxious spiritual, claiming to carry my cross with supposed self-abnegation and supposed self-sacrifice, lie for their own benefit. Living off the flock, that pays them so that deception and wickedness continue its infernal course. They boast of being rich, and they really are, rich in their own righteousness. For my righteousness is far from them. They expose their supposed spiritual victories, but they are far from being hot, but are overflowing and swollen, in mortal vanity. Therefore, this spirit and spurious work is far from my approval, since it does not proceed according to the example that I have given you. To these lukewarm ones who disdain my words, I spit them, and they will have no part with me. But there are still some, not many, but they are there, these that I see who still fight and pray for my real light. These, I will allow my light to shine on them so that they can see my real path and decide to walk along it. But, truly, truly, I tell you that even among the lukewarm, when the light shines on them, they will see it, but they will not recognize it, for, intermingled among the infidels, they will deny its effectiveness. But those who receive it and advance in my sayings and leave the amalgam behind, these are the ones that I, being at the door, call them and they hear my voice and they open and I enter to dine with them and they with me. And I will make them conquerors, just as I have conquered. And as I have sat with my Father on his throne, he will sit on my throne with me, for he retained what he received. He stopped, asked for the ancient path and after he knew, he walked along it. Therefore, I will keep him in the hour of testing that will come to the whole world, this, which is in front of you. Because he kept the word of my patience and retained as a great treasure the faith. Because these, upon knowing the path of real salvation, ran along it and left behind them the worst of deceptions, those who say they are Christians, that is, my followers, but are half Christians, which are worse than those who do not believe in me. And in these it is that the evil one most manifests his energetic power so that they do his work that he cannot openly do, of deception, without being discovered. For, the unbeliever shows himself as he is, moreover, he who claims to be a Christian but is not, is deception in all directions. So I tell you, escape from those who do not put into practice the word of truth. For in these the letter is dead. These listen, but reject. They use my word for their own purposes, and open the wide road to hell. He who seeks for himself is judged and censured by them, since their goal is to keep the truth at bay so as not to obstruct their benefits. For this reason, in your time, I have stood at the door to knock and wait for someone to hear my call. And, to the one who opens to me, I will give him my heavenly treasure and he will become my son and I will be his father. And this one, clinging to me, I will make him overcomer and I will cover him with my justice in white garments. And I will cover his sad nakedness and cure the blindness of his eyes with my heavenly ointment, and he will see very clearly the beauty of my truth and my character. Therefore, take my advice and do not reject it, because if you do not do so I will vomit you out of my mouth, for, I am your substitute and guarantor, and without me, you will be able to do nothing. He who has ear, let him hear, so that he may overcome triumphantly in me, in the final test, and not lay down your crown before your flesh. For I am the way, the truth and the life, he who is still dead, he will live. And death will not be able to hold him back, because I conquered death to make, in me, overcomers all those who come to me. Therefore, do not disdain the door that is before you, for those who disdain it will fall and will be dead forever. Like this, those who do not disdain my words will be guarded and protected when the world turns against them, for great wrath is prepared for these. But I will preserve you, out of fidelity to me, from this hour of great trial, because they returned to the old path, they were repairers of the breach, and they raised paths, they did not deny the faith, and, even with little strength, they clung to me. And I, as a powerful giant, will subject the world to their feet so that they recognize that I fight and protect my special treasure, and these will stand before you in worship, for they will recognize that a force above theirs is with you. And they will not subsist against you, for my power will rest on you, for such a synagogue of evil will have no part or power over anyone who bears the seal of the living God. Hear, therefore, my words, and do not associate with those unbelievers who close their ears so as not to hear and close their eyes so as not to see. That they are whitewashed tombs, that live on mere formalism, they feel pleased with this. For these will be like tow before my third coming, and I will remember them no more because they rejected the living waters of Siloam. Faithful and true words that I leave, from the Eternal, for each one of you. May the Lord bless you.